Our world has limited space, and with an ever-increasing population, that space is dwindling every day. In the United States, specifically in Southern California, we have major urban sprawl that continually and relentlessly gobbles up natural habitats. In the high desert exists a very delicate ecology, one that is easily disrupted and altered, creating endangered plant and animal species. If development and expansion is kept unchecked, these environments and the plants and animals they support will eventually become extinct. We have claimed all the space we really need. What remains must be protected and left in its natural state. This is the core purpose of the Transition Habitat Conservancy, a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose commitment is to protect natural environments and preserve them for future generations to study, experience, and enjoy. The organization was started in 2003 by Jill Bays and Roberta Dewey.
I'm Jill Bays, president of Transition Habitat Conservancy.
I'm Roberta Dewey. Around here they mostly call me Berta.
This came about as an idea in 2003 from Berta.
Well, I have long been an equestrian, and I had for a long time been riding through this lovely canyon, which had no houses. It had, when you got in there, you thought you were away from the world. And then one day Jill came along, and I met Jill, and we were riding together in the canyon, and I started talking about, wow, don't you think this would make a wonderful park?
I picked up the phone and I looked at my newsletter from the Nature Conservancy and I found a number and I called it and I said, my name's Jill Bays and I have a great place for you to save. And EJ said, well, you'll be 4,308th on the list of our priorities and it won't happen in your lifetime. And I went, gulp. And 5 years later I called EJ and said, EJ, we got on our general plan, we got on our community plan, we wrote open space and conservation policies and goals that said the community should support conservation organizations to purchase land like Sand Canyon. And this year we've received $1 million from the Wildlife Conservation Board for acquisition funding, 8 years after we submitted the first version of the grant that had maybe 15 different iterations. It's been a long, hard haul, but we got money this year and we bought land.
And we have succeeded in buying, I think, all of the land in what we originally called Sand Canyon. I think we have got all of that land now, which was immediate, that was what started us out. In the meantime, many other things have transpired and we have spread out to the east and to the west and acquired...
To the north.
Yeah, to the north, and acquired properties out in the Mojave Desert and over in LA County, and all to help us complete our original project. So now it is going to become a nature park or an environmental area.
An ecological
reserve.
So it's Puma
Correct.
Canyon project, and we have 300 acres of the project completed this year. And one of the sailors, Jim Sailor, donated his land to us, and he and his wife Jolie were very, very generous in this donation, and we've worked really hard to remove some unpermitted buildings and concrete and get it cleaned up, because that will be the place where we are now going to create an amphitheater, outdoor classrooms, reconnect our kids to nature, let our kids see what a horned lizard looks like. I can't tell you how many people that live in our community that have never seen one, and one of the most unique creatures we have here is our coastal horned lizard. We have the California quail, and we have the roadrunner, one of my favorites. He shops the wall around my house looking for lizards. And I always tell them, go get your own lizards. Those are mine. And we have the thrashers are fabulous with their long curled beak, and they dig through the rocks and the roots and the grass in my yard and find the worms. We have the fabulous Cooper's hawk. He hunts quail in my yard regularly. We have a lot of coyotes, bobcats, mountain lions. We're going to have picnic areas, hiking trails, horseback trails, hitching posts, but this area is not open to motorized vehicles of any kind. And that's specified in our funding. The funders very specifically restrict land use from motorized vehicles. So you're welcome to come to our park and hike and picnic and photograph this beautiful place and these animals, but you have to leave your vehicles outside. Really going to be a fantastic place. We want the veterans to come out and play cards, have picnics. We want to get the seniors out, the chamber groups. We want it to be a destination where you can sit and listen to the quiet and enjoy the incredible views that we have here in this project. And we really, really, from the bottom of our hearts, thank the Wildlife Conservation Board for doing the heavy lifting they did this year and believing in our project. Out in the Kramer Junction area, northeast of 58 and 395, we have purchased 3,500 acres, and by the end of the year it'll be 4,000 acres of critical desert tortoise habitat. It's designated for the tortoise. And the tortoise is a sacred animal to most of the Native American tribes, and I think one of the most charismatic characters we have in our desert, and we love our desert tortoise. So we're providing some habitat for our tortoise in perpetuity, and I feel really good about that. We also have the Mojave ground squirrel and the burrowing owl, and it's really, really beautiful stuff. And then in LA County, in the West Antelope Valley, we have our Swainson Hawk Reserve, and we've accomplished about 2,000 acres of acquisition. My vision for that project is to reintroduce the antelope to the Antelope Valley, and that will bring the condors back where they used to be historically.
Well, it was difficult in the beginning to see that we could make it this far. It was, and there were so many hurdles to overcome.
In the charitable world, when you need millions of dollars, you get a lot of no's. And rejection was something extremely difficult for me. And I had to go to a lot of classes that said, you need to get 10 no's for every yes you're going to go, so go out and collect your no's or you're not going to get your yeses. And without somebody, saying, yeah, finally, you will finally get there, it would have been very easy many, many points along the road to say, it's too hard. I don't think we can do this. And I'm glad we didn't give up.
I do love the area, and I am so thankful this Jill and Bert are here, and how they wanted to save this place. I wish I would have had the brains to do what they were doing, but I am so thankful the habitat's here. I can walk out my door and just go up a little ways, and knowing there'll be no homes built up there. I volunteer at least twice to 3 times a month, just doing miscellaneous work they don't want to do, and the grunt work and stuff like that, and the filing and etc. But work that needs to be done, and is very important. And at my age, I need something also to keep me busy, and of course all the people are so warm, and the dedication and what we've done up here on the hill. Oh, the peace, the calm. It's so calm. It's so peaceful. It's mystic in a way also, because I've had beautiful experiences with the wildlife as I've gone hiking and things like that. but I love the peace and quiet, and I've met a lot of wonderful people.
My name is Wendy Walker, and I enjoy helping out with the Transition Habitat Conservancy. A while back, my friend Mary Engel was telling me about the Transition Habitat Conservancy, and she kept saying I should be involved with them, that I would enjoy it. And years later, she moved away, and I ended up moving over here close to the Conservancy land, which was awesome. It's right here in my backyard, so you know, I've lived in the urban setting. I've even lived in the desert for the past 20 years. But I've always wanted to be in an area like this where I can go out and enjoy everything, you know, see the coyotes and the bobcats and not go out and find a bunch of trash. You know, I've been there, done that, where you see trash and people just don't care. But up here, it's like you get a feeling that people care. Was it last week? We had the Girl Scouts come up, or a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed their enthusiasm. It was nice to show them things. It's nice having the uncommon knowledge to teach to the youth, you know, about the plants. I mean, they'd come up here and look around and say, oh, this is just sticks and cactus, and it's nice to get them down looking at things. Getting the kids up here is one of my visions, to get them out of their houses and to see what's here. I mean, you have your own little environment here. When you get down on your hands and knees and look at the little velvet ants and, you know, little beetles and things like that, it's exciting. And I think the youngest kids would love that, if they can get out here and see lizards and realize that there's a community of things out here. There's a whole bunch of stuff to see, but you know, unless someone's there to show them, they're not going to want to come out. Why would they want to come out, you know? But getting them enthused about it is going to be the key. I think that this habitat is sorely needed, because people can come up here and just breathe it in, you know? It's needed because we don't have a lot of this left.
So I met Jill and Bert when they were going by on their horses, and I was out front at my house, and they stopped to introduce themselves and invited us over for dinner, and that's when I first became aware of the Transition Habitat Conservancy and was very much interested in the work they were doing. I could never really become involved in a nonprofit if I also didn't really believe in the work that they did and the mission and what they really stood for. And for me, the Transition Habitat Conservancy is a very visionary, big picture nonprofit, and the values that are important to them are also reflect upon my values significantly, and that is the interrelationship between all the different ecosystems. So it's not just about buying up land or acquisition of land to protect species, but it's also protecting flora and fauna, and then the interrelationship and the biodiversity between all of those. So for me, Transition Habitat Conservancy tries to bring all of that together, and I think we have a huge opportunity to educate our partners.
The Transition Habitat Conservancy has accomplished much in its 10-year history, and that is just the beginning. The commitment to the high desert put forth by the organization is both relentless and compassionate, and will live on for many years to come. They would like to thank everyone who has contributed in the past, and thank those in advance that would like to help in the future, because this is all about the future. As stewards of this world, we have fallen short. That is why it is more important than ever that we make every effort to heal what we have harmed and to protect what we have not. This is the primary objective of the Transition Habitat Conservancy.
The only regret I have in this whole difficult path we were on is that Stuart Kellogg isn't here to see it. But I know he's looking down, and I know he's feeling good about it. Love you, Stuart.